Welcome to tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. And as always, I have a very special guest for you, Ms. Shaquan Hoke, who's the CEO of Beyond a Job, Inc. She'll be with us for the next 30 minutes, so stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV.
Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered.
Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. Like I said, I have a very special guest for you, Ms. Shaquan Hoke. Welcome to the program. Actually, I love the title of your company, Beyond a Job, Inc.
Yes.
Beyond Focus, you're beyond a job. Just fits. We love having you here. So thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. It definitely is an honor to be here today.
Oh, you're welcome. So why don't you tell everyone at home, before we even get started, I kind of like to set the pace and let everyone kind of know who you are and give them a chance to connect with you. So give us a little bit about who is Shaquan Hoke.
Well, where should I begin? I am a mother of 5.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's a big one.
I'm also a wife. My husband, he's a Marine of 10 years. He's a veteran of the Marines. And I came through this journey for a lot of reasons. And the different hardships that I experienced in my life is one of the reasons why I created Beyond a Job Incorporated. My background, I fell in hard times a little bit over 10 years ago.
So right around the recession.
Yeah, it was definitely a recession for me personally. At the time, I was a single mom and just trying to really educate myself and working 2 jobs while trying to support 5 children of my own. I just couldn't hold it together anymore after working 2 jobs and still also trying to finish college. And everything just fell down. I became homeless with my children. And so we ended up in a shelter for about a year. And during that time in my life, that dark space, I realized that, how could I get there? Being a single mother, working 2 jobs, trying to do things in the right way, trying to manage everything the best that I could without the assistance of welfare, without, looking for a hand up. I was trying to do it all. And, somewhere it wasn't enough. 2 jobs wasn't enough.
I know that. I definitely have my own testimony. And trust me, when you say that, that means a lot because the system is broken.
Absolutely.
System is broken.
Absolutely.
That we could be working and still not even make enough to pay rent that's going up in Brooklyn, and you can't even afford to live where you want to live.
Absolutely. And then imagine me, not just the rent, but me having children, and that's childcare. So that's kind of like a second rent in and of itself, When I became homeless, I just really lost my self-confidence. I didn't understand how I could end up in the space that I did. And I saw so many people around me in the shelter. They seemed to be so comfortable there. They seemed to not really have the hope of wanting to get out. It was kind of like a way of life for them. But I knew, this could not be the end of my story. And I made a promise to my God that, if He helped me to get out of that situation, then I would spend the rest of my life helping others to become economically self-sufficient through employment and through coaching and training, because that's how I found my way.
Okay. That is, and I love to hear heartfelt stories because I'm sure there's people at home who are sitting here and who can very much relate. and who are going through their own situations. And that's why I asked that question, for the very reason is to don't look at just where you are today. Absolutely. Yes, you're in a great space. I'm in a great space, but you never know where people came from. You don't know how you got there. And it gives you that little bit of hope, because a lot of people be like, oh, well, I can't get there. That's unattainable. But we all started from somewhere. And that's one of my missions, is to always give that little seed of hope. That's the whole purpose of this question for me, is to really let everyone know there is an opportunity. You can start from nothing, or you could lose it all and gain it all back and still be in a great space. So then after that, so after a year in the shelter, where did your break, per se? How did that come about?
Well, even though I was in that situation, I still worked. I was still working even while in the shelter, saving money. I sought out mentors and coaches, because I had that burning desire that, I knew I had hit rock bottom, but I also knew that I could only go up from there, because I was at the bottom. And I had my children looking at me, my babies.
And how old were they at the time?
At the time, they were aged 6 months till, I believe it was about 7, if I'm not mistaken. And could you imagine having to go to work, and then the shelter was your temporary home at that time, a place where there were people who were addicted to drugs, there were people who were ex-offenders. You just don't know who you were next to.
Yes.
I didn't sleep for many nights, and I said, I need to get out of this place, and I'm going to use this as a leverage to step up. And once I did that, I have my foundation is God and praying. That's what my mom taught me. In hard times, to say a prayer, and say it with intention, with purpose. And that's how I began to get clarity as to who I really was. And then once I realized who I was, then I can know, okay, now I know what I want and then what I need to do. Because before, I was just kind of going around, just going through life, just trying to take care of my family. But I had no identity. I really didn't know who I was or what I wanted. All I knew is that I was a mom and I had to take care of my kids. That's all I knew. And so I had no purpose but for my children, for my family. And so I believe God put me in a space to see that, I have a purpose for you. And my purpose was to rise above that situation so that I can help others come out of theirs. And in doing so, God directed people in my life in which I was able to get mentored as to what career I should go into, and to also the type of work that I should do because of my personality type.
Exactly.
I had no idea that you really should know who you are before you even go into employment.
Well, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. So Shaquan, amazing first segment, very heartfelt. And I know everyone at home is kind of like, all right, so how did this all come about? It's just so full of hope. And that's important because I think that's the one thing that if we have nothing else, hope can really take you, hope and prayer, once you pray on it, like you said, be with intention. That's
Absolutely.
important. That's really important. So let's pick up where we left off.
Yeah, I was saying how a lot of people don't realize that you really have to
Like, know yourself.
yourself. Exactly. You really have to know yourself before you can begin to venture out into the world and say, you know, I'm going to do XYZ as a job, because anyone can just kind of throw their resume out there and just see where it sticks. But really, if you get a J.O.B, then you're just doing it just for the money. And then
You're
how
doing it for
long are
that
you going
check.
to be there?
Do it for that check.
Right.
Keep it moving.
And
You
I-
don't not like it, but you got to be there.
Exactly. And I've known so many people, like, let's look at it. Uber. How many Uber drivers you think they're doing it because they love to drive all day? No. Somewhere there's a disconnect between the person and the purpose. You have to be connected with the person, with yourself, in order for you to know then your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a long time, I didn't know the person, so that's why I didn't have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But as I transitioned from being homeless into being self-sufficient after a period of time of me slowly rebuilding myself, it was kind of like me having an awakening of self. And once I did that, then I realized, okay, even once I moved out of the shelter, where I was placed, it was right in the heart of Far Rockaway. And most people that know of Far Rockaway, it has a very bad stigma with a lot of poverty.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is the people that live there have no self-esteem. They don't really care about their surroundings. They don't care about life, that sort of thing. And I was introduced to a community center,
Mm-hmm.
and a nonprofit. And so I went there to inquire about what they offered for the community, and I saw that they offered employment services. And at the time, I was working my 2 jobs again, as a home health aide at that time. And so I said, I want to do something more than that. I want to go back to school and finish my degree. So I actually gave notice to 2 home health aide jobs so that I could partake in the job readiness training that they had there. And the company was called Rockaway Development and Revitalization Corporation. That's where I got my first start in nonprofit.
Wow.
Yes. And once I did the training with them for 3 weeks, I gave notice to the 2 jobs that I was working and says that I was not coming back. Now, most people would be like, are you crazy? You quit 2 jobs to do a job readiness training? Yes, because to me, God was telling me, this is where you're supposed to be. This is your opportunity. And then as soon as I finished the training, they hired me.
You see?
And with that, I was able to finish my degree there. I worked there for almost 5 years. Worked there until the funding got low, and at the time they had to lay people off, and I was one of them. But through them, I got connected with Dress for Success. And from Dress for Success, I volunteered my services because I saw what they did for the community and for women, helping them to regain self-sufficiency by giving them interview clothing and coaching and things like that. And that's where I fell in love with nonprofit and with helping women in my community.
That is amazing. And it's just like one thing leads to the other. Another door will open. And that's the true essence of networking.